Alright, 6th of August 2024. This is just a quick little update about the video, like an addition to the video from yesterday. Because yesterday I talked about, okay, always project your energy, right? Because especially in my case, I had the example that there was one person in my life who was dragging me down and dragging my energy down. Why? Because this person is coming from force. He or she wanted to spend time with me, but not because it was like an inviting thing. Okay, I want to spend time with you because it's something positive I want to share. I want to share something positive with you. No, it was like, okay, we have to spend time, or if we don't spend time, you are the asshole, right? And I will blame you for this. I will put you down for this. If you have somebody in your life like this is nothing that energizes you, right? It's taking your energy because you want to. You're probably young. You want to build something. You want to improve your life. You're busy. At least I'm busy. I want to do something. I can't always spend time with everybody because I'm working. And especially in sales or in business, you don't need a person who's dragging you down like this. So I decided yesterday, okay, I will end this contact and I will cut this person out of my life because it's just dragging me down. And I also said yesterday, okay, it's important to still come from a place of power, not insult her, to not be the force back, because I had those negative thoughts, like the ego came up in me, right? Being angry because he or she was like all this negative, blaming me, that I'm a bad person. And I realized, okay, there was anger coming up in me. So I thought, okay, maybe I should say this, because there are many hurtful things that you can say to a person. I told myself, okay, this is not the right way to go about this. If I end a contact, I will still do it with power. Even though she or he is coming from force, I will still do it with power and end this without insulting, without putting her or him down, without making the other person feel bad. This was the plan yesterday, right? So I went to the place, went to the person, and I talked to her or him. And of course there was all this drama, like crying and anger and all of this blaming. I wasn't really like addressing that because I knew, okay, this is not the person, but it's the ego, right? It's the negative emotion that's running her right now. It's not her fault. AKA, okay, not take it personal, but still tell her, okay, or him, that I will leave. But at some point, the person then apologized to me and and told me, okay, I just realized how toxic I was towards you and that you were right? That this behavior was not good. And this was the first time when the person opened up to me and like came to me with power, right? Not blaming, not negativity, but power, apologizing, showing herself or himself vulnerable and admitting that the person was wrong. And this was the switch where I said, okay, there might be the chance that talking and having conversation and telling her or him, like my opinion about this conversation has also a point, right? Because when the other person is full of anger, there's no point in talking to that person, right? Because it will never like come through. So this was like the story. But the most interesting thing, and this is like what I wanted to share here, is the following. So you know that I'm a fan of David Hawkins, right? I love his teachings. I'm trying to study him, learn everything I know from that he shares. Especially this book is what I recommend. And yesterday, I kid you not, because I was packing my stuff, my luggage, and this book was inside of my luggage, right? When you open up luggage, there are like things where you can put stuff in, right? Your books. And I had 3 books in there, and this book was in the middle, and another book. It wasn't this one. They were like next to each other in the luggage. They were always like this all the time. That day, I opened this up, and I saw that this book, the smaller book, was sliding into the other book. Like this. At first I was like, oh shit, because I hope that the pages don't get like scratched because I really like this book. But I saw it and was like, okay, no, it was fine. I thought, okay, usually this book is pretty good and it teaches a lot about ourselves and about our life and it's helpful. Let me just read the page, what is saying on there. So it's page 127 of the book Letting Go, right? The chapter is anger. And these were the following things that were standing here. I will read it now. That which we want, desire, or insist upon from another person is felt by them as pressure. They will therefore unconsciously resist. In the above example, both persons are looking for acknowledgement. They want it, they desire it, but block it in each other. Each side feels pressured and consequently resistant. The resistance is because pressure is always felt by us as a denial of our choice. It's always felt by us as a denial of choice. It is felt as emotional blackmail. The unconscious formula goes, give me what I want, or I will punish you by withdrawal, by anger, by pounding, by sulking, or by resentment. We all resent feeling emotionally blackmailed. We all know the resistance we feel when we become aware that somebody is fishing for a compliment, and the same resistance goes on unconsciously as well as consciously. And one page before he gave an example, and I also want to read this quickly out. He's talking about anger and where anger can come from, and the person I was talking to was pretty angry. And the interesting thing was, it was exactly this. He or she tried to force me, pressure me into spending time with her or him. And this was the thing what made me resisting spending time with that person. Because it was like, okay, every time I wanted to spend time with her, it was like always negativity, always anger, always negativity. Why don't you spend more time with me? Stuff like this. And of course this was resisting. And the example here he makes about a couple, right, in a marriage. An example of this comes from a day in life of a typical traditional marriage. The wife spends the entire day working hard at cleaning the house, meticulously looking after the plants, bringing in flowers, rearranging some furniture and doing all she can to make the house look beautiful. When the husband comes home, he doesn't say a word about the house or even seems to notice. Instead, he is exhausted from the day at work and he recounts his various trials and tribulations. In his mind, he's thinking all of the self-sacrifice he has made. The irate customers, the arduous drive, I don't know how to say this word, the arduous drive through commute traffic, the irritable boss, and the pressure of deadlines. He is thinking of all that he has done for his wife and the family. While he is thinking of all this hardship, she is feeling a mounting resentment that he hasn't acknowledged her efforts. And she goes back in her mind over all the sacrifices she made that day. She could have gone out for lunch with friends. She could have finished reading the book that she is enjoying. She could have watched her favorite program on television. Instead, she did all of this for him, and now he's making no comment on the result of her efforts. As both harbor their guards, resentment and frustration, their inner anger mounts. It is expressed as coolness and detachment as they escape into television for the evening and go to bed silently to brood over their grievance. This is such a typical American home scene that is almost banal to repeat it there. So for me, this was first of all super interesting because it was exactly the situation that happened to that person, right? To me, it was pushing me away because it was pressuring me. Okay, we have to spend time. We shouldn't spend time because it's something beautiful and it will be like great for both of us. No, we have to spend time or I am angry. And this was the vibe, this was the energy, and this was felt by me subconsciously. But more interestingly was for me, the other book literally was, and I kid you not, this, I cannot prove it and I don't need to prove it. This is what happened, right? It was inside here, because I'm a person, I believe, right? I believe in the teaching of David Hawkins, I believe in some higher power or anything. And I also believe that this was not a coincidence. And this is also what I think is interesting, what he says at the beginning of this paragraph, is that he's saying especially anger. And this, with the person, this was what it is. It was anger. This often comes from our low self-esteem when we're coming from our small self in a relationship, right? In a relationship with not only a partner, a romantic partner, but also with like business partner, right? When we're coming from the small self, so when we think, okay, we are below the other person, what we often do is we have some sort of pride because of self-sacrifice, right? We do all those stuff for the other person, but often those things are not acknowledged, right? Because they don't even see all the things that we are doing for the person. And this is when we are setting ourselves up for anger, because we are doing things, we are doing the sacrifice to get the acknowledgement, to make the other person like us, to make the other person spend time with us, and thereby push them away because it's coming from force. And we also set ourselves up for anger because they don't even acknowledge all the things that we did for them. So he says the better thing and the better way to do it is to, if we do things, then we do those things solely because we want to do them. We want to give a good time to them. The wife, the housewife in this example, is cleaning the house, is like doing everything with furniture, not because she, ideally, not because she wants acknowledgement or attention from the husband, no, but truly because he wants to give him a good time. He wants to give him a great environment where he feels comfortable, and if he doesn't see it and if he doesn't acknowledge it, it's totally fine because she's not doing it for the reaction, she's doing it just for the purpose of doing it and sharing love. And the husband vice versa, right? He's not going to work and providing for the family to get acknowledgement, to get some positive reinforcement. No, he's doing this to provide for the family, and if she doesn't notice and she forgets at some point, it's totally fine because he's doing it from a place of love, from a place of positivity, from a place of power. But of course, nobody's perfect. That's why we all have to work on ourselves and all have to improve ourselves. And this is often where like conflicts happen, right? But I think this is great things because now we have the awareness. I have the awareness again because I really learned this. My friend has the awareness where this anger was coming from. And as soon as we have the awareness, now we can change something, right? Because in that moment, when he felt angry and she felt like it was the right decision to do, the right thing was to be angry. But why was that? The anger came from the ego, right? And in this moment, she or he had no awareness that this was ego. It's like a horse with those things, like just being run by the anger. But now this person has awareness. He or she knows, okay, this is coming from me, from my small self, from my low self-esteem, because I'm sacrificing myself, I'm sacrificing stuff, because I have expectations and I'm setting myself up for anger. And then the responsibility is to acknowledge, okay, it's not me, it's the emotion, it's the ego that is running me right now, and then to let go of the emotion and not to act through that emotion. But this is only possible if we have awareness, right? If we don't have the awareness, it's impossible to change something. So the first step for change is awareness. This was a great learning that I had yesterday again. I really don't think it was a coincidence that the other book was inside here. I think it was some kind of maybe message, maybe the thing that I needed to hear or I needed to read, or I needed to tell the other person, because of course I was reading out the page to her or him. So I wanted to share this here, and I hope this was a useful lesson also to you personally. Maybe you have this sometimes, that you're sacrificing yourself for another person, and then you have the feeling, okay, she or he is not acknowledging that, and then you get angry. But now you know where this is coming from, you have the awareness, and now you can take responsibility for that and let go of that, make better decisions, and ultimately have better relationships. All right, then I want to appreciate you for watching until the end. For everybody who's new, my name is Dennis, and right now I'm building my business in sales because I want to live free and travel the world. And here on YouTube, the goal is to document everything, right? The whole journey towards success, whatever that means. And the goal is also to make it as authentic as possible, right? To share my ups, my downs, when I make good money, when I make no money, when I'm feeling awesome, when I feel horrible. If this is interesting, you can subscribe if you want, and then we see each other next video. And also with like different type of content, right? I want to make different type of content, like share my life, and also educational stuff that I learned, learnings, and also sometimes here and there a vlog when I'm doing something, when I'm traveling. By the way, right now we are in Medellin, and soon we will be somewhere else, so you will see if you follow this channel. Anyways, thanks for watching, see you in the next one. Take some action.